I could not be more excited for your series. Just want to start with that. Just so amped up for this one. If someone has actually never seen any Star Wars, can they watch this series, or do you want to recommend the things they need to watch to like really get ready for it?
That's an interesting question. I would definitely say that it would help if you've seen the prequels. So I think if you do have time to watch one thing, the prequels would certainly be a help in understanding the show. It's tricky because obviously we are so in the middle of two trilogies with these big legacy characters. But as much as possible, Joby, who's the writer, and I, when we were doing the development, we really were trying to make sure that, we'd always do a reality check to go, if we take the Star Wars out of this, does this still work just on a human level? So, I guess if you didn't know anything at all about Star Wars, which feels like it'd be hard to find a person who maybe doesn't know anything, I think you could still watch it. You may not get every single reference or understand everything, but I think hopefully it still works just on a human level.
How close did Darth Maul come to being in the series?
From the time that I've been involved, honestly, Darth Maul has never actually been part of the conversation. So I'm not sure if it was I've never seen it actually in any iteration that I've been involved with.
I'm assuming, obviously, you must have spent a lot of time researching and learning everything you could learn. Was there one thing in particular that you found that you're like, oh my God, this is cool and this is going in the series?
It's interesting because, I'd obviously done a lot of, gone pretty deep for Mandalorian, but this was, then I went very deep for Kenobi, and I really looked at a lot of the stuff in the extended universe, and especially connected to stuff that, we might touch on. So it's interesting, there's a lot of great stuff out there, but I think, one thing that was really, it was quite meaningful was there's a statue of Kenobi during this period, a sideshow statue that it really sort of felt visually like it encapsulated what the feel of the character was at this moment. And that actually became quite a reference that I would continue to go back and look at visually.
Was it an older statue? I'm very curious.
It was an older statue. Yeah, I don't have the exact name, but it's quite a beautiful statue. So it just sort of had the feel, and so much is what you're trying to do as a filmmaker is you're trying to, what does this feel like? What's the tone of this series? And it felt like it came close.
The series is 6 episodes. And the thing about Disney Plus is some series are like 30 minutes and some series are an hour. So I'm very curious, how long are the episodes?
It's definitely a range, and it depends on, the story being told, I think, with each episode. So it ranges, per episode, but, everything's under an hour.
When it's all said and done, how long is it? Do you know? Like, is it 4 hours? Is it 5 hours?
I don't even know, honestly. I could do the math, but I think maybe it would be better if we waited until after the show came out to get into specifics.
Say no more. Did you end up with a lot of deleted scenes, or is it one of these things where it all went on the screen?
It's interesting. Almost everything was on the screen. There was very little actually that got cut. So, and obviously we were shooting this through COVID, and it's quite an ambitious project. So it was kind of great actually at the end of the day that the vast majority of what we shot actually is on screen.
Which episode of the 6 are you really amped up for fans to see?
It's interesting. Like every episode, especially after you work on something so long, they all have sort of a place in your heart. But I think, the final episode, because you bring everything together in the final episode, I'm excited for the fans to get there and see the whole journey come to its end.
Obviously, like everyone loves the lightsaber fights in Star Wars. What is it like actually trying to bring cool lightsaber fights to your series? And I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about the collaboration with whoever your second unit director was. I actually don't know. What is that relationship like? How much were you trying to do it? You know what I mean?
For action, I truly love doing action. And, obviously, I had done a bunch on Mandalorian, but it was mostly blaster fire. So it was a lot of shootouts. And then all of a sudden I'm going into a lot of lightsaber stuff. But I mean, for me, honestly, for this series, I tried to do the vast majority of it because it's something I feel actually is very important to do. I did have an amazing stunt coordinator, Jojo Asubio, who very much was with me, and we creatively collaborated to, on the choreography and got there, and he definitely helped out on the second unit. But I think the thing for me that's always made action feel the strongest is when it comes out of character, and that it's not just action for action's sake. So it's something that I feel is quite important making sure that the character and all the emotion is there at the same time as the action and the physicality.
Can you talk a little bit about trying to, I don't know about raising the bar, but like how you wanted, certain sequences to elevate for, like standout moments, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I think with, in terms of approaching the action, especially with the lightsaber stuff, like obviously with the Inquisitors, we're into a whole new set of, lightsabers and different actions that we haven't seen in live action. That was pretty exciting. I will say it is far easier to spin a lightsaber in animation than it is in, in live action. So that was a bit of a trick. But, I think with just in terms of the approach on it, you want the scenes to feel very dynamic, and you want to get the heart rate up, and we're all excited to kind of get to do them and to see them. But at the same time, one of the things that's so interesting about it is that because of the nature of the fight and the characters, it's personal, and there is really a lot going on with this. This is not just a fight. This is two characters involved that really mean something to each other. So that to me is always the heart of doing the best action.
Yeah, I got to stop. I'm just going to say sincerely, I am so excited to see this series. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.